Today, lots of great news came out of Nintendo Direct, but this one piece has us kinda baffled. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, wishing you a happy regular crispy day.
Hey, I saw last week's show. That was impressive how Beige made it through an entire episode without doing any Nintendo news.
Yeah, I talked to him afterwards and he said it hurt the whole time.
Cool. Since he's gone, let's do a bunch of Nintendo news.
Deal. At last week's Nintendo Direct, they showed off the breadth and depth of Final Fantasy titles coming to the Switch. For some games, this being their first time on a Nintendo console, which for fans of Final Fantasy's early days feels somewhat like a homecoming. Final Fantasy VII, 9, the 10 and 10.2 HD remasters, 12, and the Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition are all going to be available, and not just on the Switch, on Xbox One as well. Not that Square Enix has traditionally made counting easy, what with Final Fantasy 11 and 14 being MMOs, but you might have noticed another omission, Final Fantasy 8. In fact, you can't even buy a port of Final Fantasy 8 on the PS4, and you can get all of these on the PS4. Square hasn't or won't respond to inquiries about it, but maybe because people said a whole bunch of bad stuff about it back when it released, they're all sort of awkward about it now. Worth noting also, especially with 10 and 10.2 being the HD remasters, it's worth mentioning that the Final Fantasy VII port is not that remake they're supposedly working on. They have no further comment on that at this time. Additionally, all three parts of Final Fantasy XIII are also missing from that announcement, but nobody seems to have noticed or cared.
In yet further Nintendo news, we finally have some idea about what the company's long-gestating paid subscription service, Nintendo Switch Online, will actually offer. In addition to the long-requested cloud save feature, a mobile app for in-game voice chat, and access to a library of 20 classic NES games and Balloon Fight, the biggest selling point for Nintendo Switch Online is online multiplayer functionality for games like Mario Kart 8, Splatoon 2, and ARMS. Now, if you're currently scratching your head saying, I thought those games already had online multiplayer, you're right. But according to Nintendo, once Switch Online is up and running on September 18th, online multiplayer will be moving behind the paywall for most of Nintendo's first-party games. Which honestly honks, but wait, because you cannot yet comprehend the depth and breadth of the honking you are about to experience. Despite the fact that people are thirsty AF for cloud saves, some of Nintendo's most popular first-party titles won't support save data cloud backup because Nintendo is scared some people will abuse the system to gain the online multiplayer rankings. In addition, if you accidentally let your Nintendo Switch Online service lapse, all the cloud saves you have will be deleted. You also won't be able to play Tecmo Bowl or any of the other classic NES games that come with the service, and the separate app you need to install on your phone to do voice chat will also presumably stop working. So why the hell do you even want to pay Nintendo $20 a year for this service? Well, if you want those rad wireless Switch controllers that look like NES gamepads, you must have a paid Nintendo Switch Online subscription. That's literally the only way to get them. I guess the honking will continue until morale improves.
Also during the Nintendo Direct, somewhat hidden in the middle of the announcement of new Super Smash Bros. U for Switch, was a new character, kinda, sorta, of Peachette. When Toadette puts on a crown or eats a mushroom with a crown on it, she becomes Peachette, a character who is not Peach, but looks exactly like Peach. Does this finally answer the question of why the Mushroom Kingdom's monarch, we assume Peach, aka Princess Toadstool, is the monarch since her father hasn't been seen since a coloring book in the 1980s? Looks like a human, but not any of her subjects. Maybe she was just like any other toad, but ascended to Peach form by eating one of the kingdom's many fucked up mushrooms. But why? Do toads need New Yorkers to reproduce and have to present themselves as sexually attractive to humans in an effort to lure them to the Mushroom Kingdom for procreation and tennis, as if there aren't people out there who would 100% fuck Toadette as she already is? What is Nintendo trying to say? We're pretty sure the truth is they don't care. Like 100% they're just doing whatever because it's fun or it looks cool or they've got to dash out of the office in time to make the evening Shinkansen, but All this, everything must make sense. What is the anatomy of a toad? Where does Breath of the Wild fit into the broader Zelda timeline? That's assuredly on us, and Nintendo don't give a shit.
And finally, you can't do video game news without something coming up about Fortnite, the game that just won't quit. Turns out it's actually causing a lot of other people to quit their marriages. According to Divorce Online, the ubiquitous Battle Royale game has been cited in more than 200 divorce proceedings in the UK this year, and it's only September! Which sucks, but if your marriage is already going that badly, it's probably best that Fortnite was the tipping point and not, a baby.
Oh, by the way, the game with the freaky Toadette Peachette thing is New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, a game that is not new, not for the Wii U, and lets you play as characters who are not the Super Mario Brothers.
I'm glad Nintendo has such a logical, well-thought-out naming system. Otherwise, there could be confusion. Coming up, good news for fans of scantily clad anime girls and corporate promises. Negligee Love Stories, the 100% uncensored visual novel, is now available on Steam. Unless you live in China, South Korea, Japan, Australia, Egypt, South Africa, Russia, Iceland, or one of the other 18 countries where that sort of shit is banned. Or Germany, where it's totally legal, but Steam hasn't figured out how to ask you if you're old enough to see anime titty yet.
There's no age gate on German Steam.
I know, that's ridiculous.
Why? That seems like a feature they would have had to remove. Valve, what? What? Valve, what?